I'm Regan Grace. I'm a professional rugby player from Wales. I used to play rugby league. I'm now transitioning into rugby union. My previous club was St Helens Rugby League. I joined there when I was 17 years old. I left Wales to pursue a career in rugby league. I had a very successful time there. I learned a lot. And then I've decided now to transfer into rugby union and apply my skills there. In 2022, I made a big jump from rugby league to rugby union, signed for a big French team called Racing 92. So I left my team, St Helens, to pursue a career in rugby union. It was a big jump for me, but I backed myself and I backed my ability. But unfortunately, I got injured 1 month after signing my contract. I was playing in a match against Salford and it was 79 minutes into the game and I went to accelerate towards the gap, and as I accelerated my foot just went bang, like from outside of me. It was almost like somebody booted my ankles. It was like an explosion and a pop, and at the time there was no pain or anything when I hit the ground, and then within 30 minutes it was just the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in my life. I get helped off the field by the physios. They take me into the changing rooms. 30 seconds later the game's finished, so my teammates come to join me, and I'm just there crying. Like, I'm not an emotional person at all, and I was just floods of tears because I had a big thing coming up with my team. We was coming up to finals and big things. We had big dreams and I wanted to be a part of it with my teammates, but unfortunately the dream was over for me. When it came to realisation that I snapped my Achilles, I felt like I was letting everybody down, not just myself, but my teammates and my future teammates as well. I also worried whether I was going to lose my contract too, so that was a big stress on me. My next steps were then to find a surgeon as quick as possible to get me on the mend, because I had limited time available to go and make things work over in France. 5 days later, I was in for surgery. 2 weeks after that, I was going back and forth Paris, meeting my new team, getting to know the medical staff, getting to know the players, and starting my rehab journey. I've seen other people do Achilles injuries and not have the best outcomes, probably suffer most of their lives after having these types of injuries. So I was definitely worried for myself and for my career, really. I thought it could potentially be over.
I was actually at the game when he did his Achilles for the first time, and seeing him just drop to the floor, I instantly knew that it just wasn't good. And a while back, we'd been talking about injuries, and he'd seen someone else do their Achilles and said, "Oh my God, I've no idea what I'd do if that happened to me. It's the worst injury you can have." And as soon as the physio said to me, "We think it's his Achilles," my heart just broke.
Once I had the surgery, I didn't do a lot. I was bedbound for pretty much 2 to 3 weeks. I was just in too much pain to move, really. I did as much as I could to look after my scar, that type work, but I heavily relied on my boot. Then I ended up moving over to Paris 6 weeks after doing the injury.
He couldn't have any weight, he couldn't carry any weight, and moving everything to Paris practically alone.
My leg never felt natural during the rehab, which was something that I thought that I was just going to have to live with again. Like this would be part of my life, like not being able to feel myself. But ended up getting 6 months down the line with my rehab, and then I went up for a skill session with the team, and like 15 minutes into the skill session, I passed the ball, I was following my teammate, and then bang, I hit the floor. I thought I tripped over somebody again. Looked behind me, there's nobody there, and everyone's got their hands on their heads, and then again I realised I've snapped my Achilles for the second time. For 15 minutes I was retired. Like I just said, I said thank you to everyone, all the staff and everything, for everything they've done, but I just said this is it. Like I'm not doing this again, because I've already walked this path once and I know how hard the journey is, so I wanted to just call it quits. I just walked out of training, limped out of training with no boot. I just got in the car and just drove off.
I was just devastated for him. Like I'd seen all the work that he'd put in. I knew what was ahead for me because the first few weeks after the operation are incredibly demanding. Luckily, I wasn't working whilst I was in Paris because I literally was a full-time carer the first few weeks, doing all his meals, bringing him drinks. Like he couldn't carry anything, he couldn't put any weight on. He was bed-bound or couch-bound. It's been really hard. And the little things that you kind of take for granted, like going for walks, walking the dog, we've not been able to do because obviously at first Regan couldn't walk, he was in a boot. And then even when he could walk, all of his efforts were going into his training days. So on the days that he wasn't training, he really did have to rest. So life as we knew it did change a lot without being dramatic. It really did. And also the mental side of it for him was really challenging. I feel like you go through every single emotion that they do, their ups, their downs. It's like you're going through it at the same time as they are. As well as dealing with my own emotions of moving countries, the change, the uncertainty that it brought. So yeah, it has been hard.
I got home, I didn't really speak to anyone for 3 days. I just locked myself away. There's 2 people I did contact, was Alan and David Gray, Rehab. I just thought to myself, I'm the only person who can help myself in this situation. So I just did whatever I could, and I'd followed Alan for a long time on social media and I've loved seeing his work, and then I thought maybe he could help me out. So I reached out to him and immediately responded. So I just explained to him, I'm in a really bad situation. I've just been offered a new contract by my new team. And 1 hour later, I go out in the field and I've snapped my Achilles for the second time. I really need help. I feel like my career is going to be over if I don't do something about it. Kept in touch after the surgery. Kept him up to date with what I was doing. Alan came on board and it was great. He worked around my physios and the strength and conditioners on my team, and there was a mutual respect between them both. And I felt like I was progressing well, progressing better than the first time. It turned out that I wasn't going to be staying at Racing. They weren't going to be offering me a new contract, which was disheartening. But my other goal then was to put myself first and just make sure I'm right. I didn't want to rush back and risk ending my career to try and make it back for a team. I just had to put myself first, and I decided just to go and rehab with Alan. So I don't have any pressures of a team on top of me, like coaches or anything like that, external pressure. The only pressure is myself. My rehab journey took a complete change. I decided to come and do my rehab pretty much straight away here and start the next chapter of my rehab journey in Bath. So me and my girlfriend Nina, we left Paris with very short notice. We've left pretty much everything we owned still in Paris in storage. We've come here to just get this rehab going and hopefully get my leg back on track to where I want to be. I was very lucky that a good friend of mine has put us up in accommodation, we're staying with him. I'm very grateful for that. And it's not too far from the training centre, which is great. Alan gives me a lift some days, which is nice, especially when it's raining. I was pretty nervous to get started with training, but also very excited as well to start a new chapter, turn over a new leaf, and make this rehab journey a positive and not look at it as a complete negative thing. This is a time for me to get stronger, just get faster and just work on things that I've probably not had attention throughout my career. Become a better athlete than I was before my injury, I think. I get up around 7:30, have my breakfast. I start my prep. I use the floss bands, the voodoo bands, and I do some exercises. I feel like it really frees up my ankles, helps me get ready for training really. So that's a little bit of prep that Alan's given me before I come into training. We start pretty early, around 9 o'clock, and as soon as we come through the door, we're working. We get to work with mobility, warming up, prep for the field. We're out in the field and the sessions are, everything's set up, ready to go. Based on what the aims of the session are, it could be acceleration where the sleds are there and we're working out of the sleds. Every run you do is assessed. So on the way, I'll do a run. On the way back in, Alan will pull me over and we'll go through the run and we'll assess my technique and he'll give me cues on what I need to work on, like how hard I'm hitting the floor, my knee drive, my body position, how relaxed my shoulders are. Like there's so many details and cues, but he delivers them really well and it's easy to learn off him. So after the field session then we come back into the gym, straight in with strength exercises. I'm making huge improvements in the gym too, like we're tracking the progress with the computers and stuff, and you can see an improvement each training session, each week. I feel like I'm getting stronger. I'm on the path to become the athlete that I am, really. Once the training's done, we recover just as hard as we train. Alan has like loads of good contacts, part of this camp really, with masseuses, soft tissue work, osteopaths. Like there's a lot of people involved behind the scenes here. It's just like having your own team really working for you. Like so you're getting every part you need to get done. Like your running, your strength work in the gym, your recovery is looked after. It's like a really good setup here, and I feel like everything is just helping me move in the right direction. By the end of it, I'm pretty much exhausted, so I'll probably go home and have like a 30-minute nap, and then I'm up to eat and stuff, and then I've got all this work done within like 3 to 4 hours. It's like unbelievable what you can do in that amount of time, but it's no sitting around when we're here, it's work. But then the rest of the day I'm free to do whatever I want, and then I'm back in the next day. The biggest difference for me since coming here to Elevate is that everyone's rehab's different, and my rehab's like very much tailored to my type of athleticism and like the athlete that I am. Whereas in a rugby team there's so many different types of athletes and body shapes and sizes, and there's some things I can do that other players can't, and there's some things they can do that I can't well. So we really like work on our good points here, and obviously target the bad points and make sure that I'm doing those things right to prevent further injuries. The approach here is pretty different to like other rehabs I've done, whereas like I've been plodding along in my other rehabs, like at all levels I've played rugby. Like if I've had an acute injury or a big injury, we started off like plodding and running very slow, and that type of like running is not very like challenging for myself, whereas like, and that's not part of my game really. My game is all about being fast and being strong in strong positions. So the approach here, like Elevate, was basically like running fast from the start, which can be like quite scary to start with. I was doubting myself, like, can I even do that? But yeah, when I feel like I'm better at hitting the floor hard, this style and approach was better for me. I was getting less pain. I was achieving like high speeds, which I didn't think I'd be able to do, without pain as well, which is the best part. This style of rehab like definitely makes me feel like an athlete again. Like I can feel myself. I feel like I'm getting back to like who I was and the type of player that I was. And it is giving me confidence to keep pushing on and just keep working hard and just pushing on every week to get back to myself and better. I see myself coming back like better, bigger, stronger, faster, more aware of like how I move in and stuff when I'm back on the field. So the first block of the camp was all about like building strength up in my calves, my lower limbs, just getting strong again and learning how to move properly really, and move efficiently and move fast. And I've been learning a lot about myself and like how I should be moving and what works best for me. It's all about like being an educated athlete instead of just going out there and winging it and doing some mad styles that aren't very efficient and probably risk you more getting injury. I've learned a lot in the first week. First block, I've really enjoyed it. Block 2 of the camp I'm really looking forward to, because we'll be doing a lot of things that will help me feel like a rugby player again, help build my confidence. We'll be doing a lot of evasion, a lot of skills work, and just building up the confidence to get back like to training. I think I should be running pretty quick by the end of this camp. The difference in how I feel as an athlete, like being here at Elevate, I feel like everything's very tailored for me, and it's like the type of workouts that I love doing. Is something I leave that pitch and I feel amazing, like, because there's targets that I'm hitting, like hitting the floor hard and stuff like this. There's things I'm doing now that I just thought it's going to take me years to get back to doing, a very long time to get back to doing, but in 2 weeks I've like accomplished so much since being here. Like, my confidence is just growing every single session, and I've never ever had like running training or running coach. So this is something I've literally always wanted to do, but you never get to do these types of things within a team because you're catered for the whole team and not just for like one person. Being able to like improve on things like my sprinting technique and my efficiency when I'm running, like, is something I'm really enjoying. Was there ever doubts that I thought I'd never get back out to the rugby pitch? Yeah, definitely. I was just in chronic pain like for a long time, and I just felt like I can't play like this. Like, 'cause if it's affecting me now, like, what's it going to be like in a game when I have to concentrate? I don't just want to be another body on the field or another body in training. Like, I want to be there to be a threat, like a threat to my teammates in training, a threat in games, and like add something to the team, not just be a part of the team. It's my last day at the camp, so we've done 5 like solid weeks, and really enjoyed it. It's just been progression like every week, really. I'd say I was a bit timid when I first arrived because I didn't want to just get stuck into things straight away, because obviously I've redone my injury once. I didn't want to risk doing it again, but Alan was great with his approach and respected like how I felt and stuff, and we gradually built things, but we was making progress along the way, which has been great for me. I wasn't in the best mental state when I arrived here, because this injury has been really like tolling on me, and it does take you to some dark places, and you start to doubt yourself whether you could really get back to who you are or what you was before this. But like, I can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel now, and like, I feel more positive myself and feeling like an athlete again. My body is like a weapon, really, and I feel like it's only just going to go upwards now, and I'm excited to get back out there on the field and perform, really.
Regan's changed massively since we've been here. Mentally, like, his mental state has definitely improved a lot since we've been here, and with that comes his happiness, and in turn the household's happier, because at the end of the day, like, if he comes home and he's not himself or he's not down, it does have a knock-on effect. And Regan's confidence has just grown so much over the last few weeks. He comes home from training, he's like an excited schoolboy, telling me what he's done, showing me all his videos in slow-mo. Like, I watched the same video about 10 times and I really can't see a difference in the videos, but he's like, no, watch this. So yeah, it's nice to see his excitement and his confidence grow over the time. So I'm a person that like to know what I'm doing. I like to be quite organised. The uncertainty can be quite daunting, but this camp's even helped me. I think I'm much more confident about the future. I'm excited for the future, excited where like we can end up. Regan's positivity is definitely rubbed off on me, and it's just, instead of thinking, oh God, everything's so uncertain, we're just really excited for the future, and seeing how he's come on, it just makes me so excited to see him back playing wherever that'll be.
Physically, I'm feeling like strong. I'm feeling powerful, I'm feeling like agile again. I'm progressing with my confidence, but not just that, like, I'm progressing physically, as like there was a deficit definitely with my left leg. It was struggling to get the size back and the strength back, but I think it's gone from like, I think around 20-something% to within 7% strength of the right side, which is like, obviously, it fills me with confidence, like I said, because it makes me obviously back the work that we're doing, and then back myself when I'm on the field, because I know that my leg is within strength of the right side, the good side. I'm confident to hit the floor hard with my foot, and I know that structurally everything's sound inside, and it's not going to give me any problems. And that just like, from there then I've just excelled, I think, with the performance I can put out there, and like how hard I can hit the floor. Like, I've noticed how quick I can move down the field with like less effort as well. It's been a big improvement. I think the biggest takeaway from this is that I feel like I can be a better athlete when I come back. I'm more educated on how to move and how quickly I can move and how efficiently I can move. It's made me excited really to get back. I'm not wary of coming back, or it's not a daunting thing to me. It's more excitement. I can't wait to get out there and just put down on the field what I've been doing here and what I'm gonna continue doing here. The most memorable thing for me is probably been accelerating again, because it's been over a year since I've fully hit the floor hard to accelerate and just move as quick as I can. So that was a big tick for me, and obviously that's a massive part of being a rugby player, is being able to accelerate, and especially for me that is a massive part of my game. Is basically who I am as a rugby player, someone who can just move from one point to another in a very quick time. So being able to do that again is giving me confidence to get back to the player, and if not better than I was before this injury. I think I'm actually going to be faster than I was before this camp. My old speeds, I think I can beat them now, with the proper training and stuff. This has pretty much been the first real in-depth sprint training type thing I've ever had. So I can see a lot of room for improvement on say technique and just how I move as a player. So I'm excited for that. Thanks a lot to Alan. Obviously, he's given me a lot of confidence to get back into my sport, which I'm so grateful for, and I've really enjoyed doing this camp too. It's been great. It's been great company along the way, as well as a great coach. It's class. I loved working with him. I think it's just a great concept, and it gets you away from the team environment with pressures from outside, say your coaches or other players that won you back and stuff. And also a thing for me that I found difficult was being injured, and then seeing the players and stuff having fun, or doing skills, or doing little games, and just having so much fun, and I'm just stuck here in this spot doing the same thing. It was hard. That's mentally hard for you. So I feel it's an opportunity to get away from that, extract yourself from that, and literally just focus on what you need to do, and focus on yourself, and then that stuff is waiting for you in the future. Then when you're back firing all cylinders. Nina's been amazing during this. She's literally been a carer for most of it. I've not been able to walk and stuff for times, twice now. I wouldn't have been able to do this without Nina. She's kept me sane through this, and kept my confidence. There's probably times where I felt I just want to give up, but she's kept me going and kept me dreaming really.
Patience is definitely key when your partner's injured, and not getting offended when he might be sharp or he might be snappy with you. They're trying to control their emotions, you're trying to control your emotions. And I think you also need to have something for yourself. You need to have something you can focus on. For me, it was the gym and learning French. That was my time to zone out and do something for me, because it's quite easy to feel like you're living your life for them. I really found speaking to other people, even if they hadn't been in a similar situation, really helps. Just that their words of comfort or their words of advice. Definitely don't keep it all to yourself.
For anyone who's in a similar situation, your career is not over. This is a chance to get better, get stronger, get faster, learn more.
I would say that Regan has changed since being injured. His perspective on his job as a rugby player and life has changed, I think. I think it's taught him not to take things for granted, because prior to his injury, he did have a very successful career. There was a lot of highs and not many lows. I definitely think it's taught him to appreciate the highs more than ever, but also appreciate the lows, because he's grown a lot as a person. He's become more emotionally aware of things. He's become more sensitive towards issues such as injuries, and it's given him a lot of time to think about the past and the future and what he wants to do and how he'd like to help people in the future. It's changed me as a person, but for the better. The second time we made the decision to document it, Regan specifically, purely because we thought it'd be good to look back on wherever we ended up. It was something where we could track progress, track Regan's progress, our progress as a couple and where we ended up. And also because Regan said whenever he was looking online, there wasn't much out there that dealt with or talked about the in-betweens of injury. You always see the post-operation picture and then the first game back picture. There's nothing in between. And I think it's kept us both sane, to be honest, documenting the journey. I've really enjoyed videoing Regan. We look back at his old videos now, even just from February and March, and we think, God, there's been such a difference. I think it's something that it's given us a purpose, a focus, and something to look back on and appreciate the simple wins and celebrate everything.
Use this time wisely, to become a better version of yourself, really. I can see myself when I'm doing the drills here and I'm hitting the floor hard, and I looking back at the footage that we're doing, because we analyse everything. Every run I do is recorded, and I watch it back after every run, every session, and I see the way I'm moving. I'm just my confidence is just growing and growing, and I can really see myself getting strong again, getting fit again, getting agile again, but not just getting back to where I was, but better. I feel like I'm going to come back better than what I was before this.